Normally with these kinds of videos, I would be putting them out at the end of the year when Sega releases a new Sonic game. So this one, coming out of literally nowhere, is a surprise for sure. Hello everyone, my name is Mirza, and today I will be reviewing the newest Sonic game, Sonic Unleashed. As I mentioned just now, this game came out of the blue with no advertising whatsoever, so I was surprised to see it suddenly launch, and it looks like it has a bit of potential. After I scrapped my Shadow Generations review, I wasn't able to properly express how I felt that game had potential, so perhaps this one will reach the surface and allow me to see if the Sonic franchise has finally improved after all this time. So, let's begin. The game begins with a cutscene depicting Sonic infiltrating Eggman's space fleet. How we got here is really out of the question, nor should we care. Eggman is trying to infiltrate Earth, and Sonic is here to stop him. After destroying his robot army, Sonic is intercepted and temporarily stopped by Eggman, who flees after Supersonic arrives, and they chase into space. In terms of graphics, this cutscene is great, and truly shows the power of Hedgehog 2, something I praised in my now gone Shadow Generations video. Unfortunately, you'll soon learn the majority of the graphical resources in this game went into this intro. After Sonic confronts Eggman, the Doctor captures Supersonic and using his power destroys Earth to release the Gaia Beast, at the consequence of nullifying the Chaos Emeralds and turning Sonic into the Werehog. After a bit of bickering, Eggman disposes of Sonic in the trash emeralds into orbit and the game begins. From here we are brought back into the jarring reality that Sega can't care about staying consistent with graphics, and we get brought back to something so bad it looks like it's taken straight off the Xbox 360. Nevertheless, Sonic crash lands on Earth and we awaken next to this thing. This flying creature that looks like a bootleg Watto is our new companion, and as the sun rises, the Werehog transforms back into Sonic, giving us our main gameplay mechanic of this installation. Dashing into the first level, we run across this empty field with traditional boost Sonic gameplay. Although it's quite a dated form of gameplay and quite overused after its usage in pretty much everything for the past 20 years, even Frontiers, Forces, and Generations, it's still enjoyable at the very least, and we use these mechanics to head into town. It's also worth noting at this time the game was having heavy lag during fast segments, however this disappears after a while. Please excuse the delay. Heading into town, Knockoff Watto wants ice cream, and thus we give ice cream to this creature and give it a name. Chip. Interesting. After that, we head into our second level after doing whatever this is. Keynote, please don't do 200 milligrams of caffeine before playing a Sonic game. Second level is more of the traditional boost gameplay from the start, this time dashing through the town known as Windmill Isle. Just some good old Sonic, and we complete the level. It's also worth noting that this game once again includes the random collectathon gameplay from Frontiers and Generations, with random items scattered throughout the level. This time, it's not red rings, but instead music discs along with sun and moon medals. You'll need to collect these medals in order to unlock new levels, so if you see one, you better nab it. You can also use these sun and moon medals to gain XP, which you naturally gain anyways by completing levels and defeating enemies in the nighttime. We'll talk about that soon. Heading back into town, Chip is having dementia and can't find anyone who remembers him. At sunset, Sonic transforms back into the Werehog. After contemplating his mental condition, we encounter Ice Cream Guy again, who is grieving the loss of his wife, Clarence. Chip tries to comfort the guy with ice cream, but he rejects the ice cream, which is nearly dropped before Sonic grabs it, realizing that he can stretch his arms out in the Werehog state. Heading into our first night level, we start a cutscene of Tails being cornered by these night creatures. Like the absolute idiot that he is, Tails doesn't fly away, instead slightly hovering to hide behind a wall as a complete bozo. In the night levels, this game goes from typical boost high-paced fun to a more slowed down action brawler game using the Werehog. When we defeat enemies, we collect this Gaia energy that can be used to charge up our Unleashed power and become stronger. So basically, if you've ever played Zenless Zone Zero, you'll have fun with this game. After traveling through the town and defeating all the enemies, we rescue the bozo Tails and complete the level. Afterwards, we head into the sky level, where Tails gets intercepted by Eggman's air fleet and makes the tornado do this. We don't ask questions around here, so let's move on. After defeating the air minions, we face Eggman in his airbase and promptly destroy it and head into Paris. Heading into town, we go to the university and find out that our main man, Professor Pickle Rick, has been kidnapped by Eggman and we must go rescue him. We gotta go to Saudi Arabia. Here we head into our second night stage where we must infiltrate this team fortress as the Werehog and successfully rescue the professor and his cucumber sandwich.
Those documents are our only hope for surviving this crisis. Let's go. There's no time to lose. I'm half starved after being fed nothing but those terrible sandwiches.
Want some chocolate, Professor?
My. Don't mind if I do.
Heading back into the village, Eggman attempts a revolution of the Prince of Brunei, which is stopped by Sonic's return, who follows him into our next day level. Here we travel through the nice Egyptian town before heading into the Sahara and ascending up a tree to enter into our first boss fight. Eggman has formed an alliance with the Covenant, and we must stop them from destroying us or something. In this fight, we have to avoid Eggman's nukes while we chase after him, and after bumping into him a few times, we win and Eggman retreats, leaving the Covenant to die. With Eggman's retreat, we enter into the first Gaia Temple, where we re-energize the first Chaos Emerald and restore a part of the Earth. After returning to Paris, we talk to the professor, who informs us of the existence of another Emerald Temple near Paris. We enter into our next night level, where we find out who is in Paris. It was Sonic. Afterwards, we get this brief cutscene where Amy gets rescued by the Werehog before he runs off. Do I need to explain this? I mean, it's just a cutscene with Amy being rescued. She doesn't even know it's Sonic. She thinks it's another guy. Why should I talk about this? I mean, surely there's a better use for my time than explaining such trivial cutscene. Why is Amy even here? Did Sega really need to shoehorn her into such a pointless appearance? I mean, sure, yeah, you gotta sell merch, but wow, there's Amy. You're supposed to kick your feet up and down and scream in joy at the sight of this pink little waste of space. Aren't you excited to see Amy? Aren't you so happy you want a pat on the back and a nice cup to put in your hand while you drink? You get so happy that Amy is in this game. People are so attention deprived that they must see their iconic characters in every single game ever, so they can point at their screen and go, whoa, that's the character I like, that's the character I like, that's the content I enjoy. They can't actively think about anything else that isn't the mascot identity. You know, when you think about it, these games have really just become a lot like Five Nights at Freddy's. You don't actually enjoy the gameplay mechanics, you're just there to point at the screen when Freddy shows up. In this case, it's just Amy Rose. You kick your feet up and down and you go, wow, that's Amy! Oh my gosh! It's not even like Amy does anything in this game. She doesn't serve any kind of mission tool or help in the main story like even Tails does something. He tells us where to go. He does something. And of course, all Amy does is just take up space from other characters. We don't get Knuckles, or Gamma, or even Shadow. Why couldn't we get Shadow? This game is all about the night and unleashing a creature and defeating Eggman with the darkness inside of the earth and whatnot. And we don't even get any Shadow content. We just spent the past year obsessing over Shadow. We had a movie, we had a game, we had all kinds of stuff about Shadow, but God forbid we have Shadow in this game. And absolutely zero reference at all to the fact that there's another hedgehog that just so happens to be a dark anti-hero. Anyways, heading into the next level, we travel to Greenland and have to navigate/boost our way through the Greenland waste to complete the level. However, it turns out the professor lied to us, and now we have to travel to Vietnam, where we enter our next night level, where we've traveled through the Vietnam jungles to eventually arrive at our second Emerald Temple. However, before we can restore the Emerald, we get confronted by the benevolent temple guard. It's that bird that I hate. After showing the bird the light of Spinjitzu, we filled the emerald with goon juice and successfully restore another part of the earth. Unfortunately, we will not restore all of the earth because my 2 hours are up, and you know what that means. The gameplay overall was enjoyable, and I didn't feel a bit dreary except when it came to the Werehog stages. I get that they tried something new, and this isn't new behavior for Sega. They've been trying something new every year for the past while, ever since Frontiers. But clearly they should have seen at the start of beta testing that the Werehog wouldn't work. This just isn't Sonic. This is some kind of strange Mario knockoff that plays as if I'm playing Ratchet & Clank. Everything moves too slowly for a Sonic game, and these characters are way too tedious and annoying to deal with. They should have just realized that fans like Mania. Why can't we get more Mania? I don't know what's so hard to understand about this. The Werehog's existence itself is confusing. Why does Sonic have the ability to transform into the Werehog? What about Super Sonic? Can he become Super Werehog? Sonic is a hedgehog for Christ's sake, not an Animorph, so stop with this new transforming Twilight nonsense. The music is quite good, which is a stark change considering what we've been dealing with the past few years. However, there are still some tracks that are forgettable, like Windmill Isle or the one desert level. I can't remember what the name of it is. It doesn't help that most of the music feels starkly different to what we've been getting the past few years from Sonic. It feels more akin to the adventure era of Sonic rather than the recent games like Frontiers, Generations, or Superstars. or Mania. I'm gonna keep bringing up Mania. The dialogue is quite nice, and for a new Sega game it looks quite well with the models and textures, even if the humans look like they've survived their own Chernobyls and been dropped around like a football. Unfortunately, this game falls apart with its graphics. Although it's a tolerable performance, this is clearly not a good use of Hedgehog 2. Although it will never be as bad as Sonic Frontiers, I still think this is a sign that Sega is too constantly rushing Sonic Team to put out a new annual installation. And if this is to indicate that they'll now be doing 2 games a year, I have even less hope for what will come out later this year. The price point is also a fine one for this game. Although it could be a bit lower, I think for what you get, it suffices. Overall, the game is a solid 6 out of 10 from me, an enjoyable experience, but with its graphics lacking and a few strangely outdated GUI elements, as long as the not very enjoyable Werehog elements, it demands fans to fix it in order to be fully enjoyable as always. So yeah, we've done and dusted another Sonic game for this portion of the year. Now let's sit back and wait until later this year when the next one releases, and see if I get butchered in the comments section again for just stating my opinion. Anyways, my name is Mirza, and thank you for watching.